The world's most useless person, Anthony Mackie. Let's talk about something that's been bugging me for a while. Who's the most useless person in the world? No need to look in the mirror. I'm talking about Anthony Mackie. Since he got cast in Avengers Doomsday, he's been all over the media making statements, but I'm not sure if he even knows what he's talking about half the time. First, they asked him about Doomsday, and his answer, well, let's just say it's not going to win him any Oscars for insight. He said something like, "Doomsday is going to give you the same feeling that the old Avengers movies used to give you. I mean, it's called Avengers, right?" So basically, his big reveal about the movie is that it's going to feel like every other Avengers movie. Wow. No surprises there, huh? If you're a fan of basic movie marketing, then I guess Anthony Mackie is your guy. But wait, it gets better. After that, he adds that Avengers Doomsday will end on a cliffhanger. Seriously. Pani Geela Gu Peela. That's his big contribution. Why did they even let him in the movie if this is the depth of his insight? I mean, Captain America has been trying to make something meaningful out of the last two films and still hasn't managed to pull it off. And here comes Falcon, who wasn't even in the last movie, suddenly acting like he's the next big thing in Marvel. Yikes. Saying goodbye to Anthony Mackie, please. At this point, I'm just thinking, Sammy Wilson, go back. Do we really need this? Avengers Doomsday might as well be called Avengers Same Old Stuff. The Old Guard, Patrick Stevet, and the return of Charles Xavier. On the flip side, let's talk about someone who's at least more intriguing in terms of superhero roles, Patrick Stevet. The man is a legend. Recently, he spoke about how he had a conversation with Kevin Feige about returning as Professor X in Avengers Doomsday. He said that he was hesitant to come back, especially after how his character was wrapped up in Logan. Now, we all know that Patrick Stevet doesn't want to just keep rehashing old roles, but apparently, when you're in Marvel's universe, there's no such thing as goodbye. He's been back in Deadpool and Logan, and guess what? It looks like he might be back again. You know, Patrick Stevet might as well just get used to this because the man can't stay away. He says, "I'm done with X-Men," but then pops back up every other year. I mean, at this point, he might just be waiting for the next Marvel paycheck to come through. And let's be real here. If you saw the Deadpool movies, you'd know that Marvel doesn't let go of its stars that easily. So expect Patrick Stevet to suit up as Professor X in every new X-Men movie for at least the next decade. Hurwing. Florence Pugh's excited about Dune 3. But what about acting? Then we have Florence Pugh, another star in the ever-growing Marvel Universe. The woman is talented, no doubt, but lately she's been more excited about Dune 3 crews than any of her Marvel projects. According to her, she's dying to see the outfits in the movie, which is all well and good, but, Florence, we care about acting, not just the costume department. We get it. Dune is a visual feast. But are we supposed to get excited because she's looking forward to the costumes more than the actual role? Sure. I guess some of us are more into the how the actors look than the how they act. But come on, Florence. You're a great actress. Show us some excitement about your role. Or maybe the Dune fans just care about the cool sci-fi clothes. Who knows? Shiuts. Takashi Amemiya and Godzilla. A sequel. Speaking of legendary franchises, Takashi Amemiya, the director behind Godzilla -1, recently teased a sequel. This new movie will follow up on the original Godzilla storyline. For those who've seen Godzilla -1, you know how massive the potential is for a sequel, and from what Amemiya is hinting at, the new film will expand on everything we love about the Godzilla universe. But here's the kicker. Instead of introducing a whole new monster, it looks like they're going to pick up where the last movie left off. For fans of the franchise, this is like a dream come true. It's not just another Godzilla movie where the monster's the main focus. Instead, it's going to dive deeper into the characters and the world building that made Godzilla -1 so successful. If you loved that first movie, buckle up because the sequel is going to be a wild ride. Fallout Season 2. More than just a game. Next up, Fallout, the TV series. We all know that the first season was a huge hit. But what about Season 2? Well, according to Walton Goggins, who's starring in the series, Season 2 is going to be even better. He's talked about how as shows go on, they tend to get even better. Now, whether you agree with this or not, this isn't always the case. Just ask Game of Thrones. But in the case of Fallout, Goggins seems pretty confident that Season 2 is going to take things up a notch. For the uninitiated, Fallout is based on the popular video game series, and if the first season was any indication, the show's going to take some big risks and deliver more of the post-apocalyptic action and dark humor that fans love. But seriously, if the next season turns out to be a letdown like Game of Thrones Season 8, I will be forced to start a petition to bring back The Office instead. John Boyega and his MCU dreams. Now, John Boyega. Man, I love this guy. He recently said that Kevin Feige, the big shot at Marvel Studios, asked him what role he would want in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. At the time, Boyega didn't have a good answer. Fast forward to now, and he's eyeing the role of Bishop, the mutant from X-Men. Now, I'm sure Marvel's going to do something special with X-Men. And with Boyega potentially in the mix, things could get exciting. If the casting rumors are true, this could be the beginning of something really cool in the MCU. The new X-Men saga is on the horizon, and the way Marvel is building up their mutant storylines is going to be nothing short of epic. Yours. The Return of Aladdin. But in a horror movie? And here's a weird one for you. Aladdin, the Disney classic, is reportedly being remade as a horror movie. And no, this is not a joke. The concept is that Aladdin finds a magical lamp, rubs it, and instead of a friendly genie, he gets a dark, sinister force that slowly starts draining his soul. While this may sound like something out of a twisted fever dream, it's happening. I honestly can't tell whether to be excited or horrified about this, but I guess we'll see where it goes. Maybe the horror version of Aladdin will give us a new perspective on the whole rub the lamp, make a wish trope. I just hope it doesn't turn into another Jungle Book live-action disaster. We can't have everything turning into a horror remake, can we? The Return of Street Fighter. Live action, again. Remember the Street Fighter movies from the 90s? Yeah, me neither, except for maybe Jean-Claude Van Damme's classic portrayal of Guile. But guess what? Street Fighter is back with another live-action adaptation. They're bringing in Andrew Koji to play Ryu. And honestly, I'm here for it. If you've ever played the game, you know Ryu's iconic moves like his spinning kick, Sure You Can, and honestly, I'm curious to see how they pull this off. If they can avoid making it look like a cheap knockoff of Mortal Kombat, it could turn out to be fun. And if they manage to recreate some of the epic fight sequences from the game, then we might have something really cool on our hands. A beautiful blood sport? Here's one for the martial arts fans. Bloodsport. The 1988 cult classic that starred Jean-Claude Van Damme is getting a remake. But don't get your hopes up just yet. If the rumors are true, A24, the studio known for making films that are more artsy than action-packed, is trying to grab the rights. Imagine a blood sport movie with the kind of moody, intense atmosphere. Yum. The most irrelevant person in the world. Anthony Mackie. Let's talk about one of the most underwhelming characters in recent times, Anthony Mackie. ever since he got his role in Avengers Doomsday. It's been a whole saga of absurd statements from him. Recently, he appeared in the media, and as usual, his comments left us scratching our heads. First, when asked about Doomsday, he had this to say: "It'll give you the same feeling that old Avengers movies gave you." Well, no kidding. The name Avengers alone tells you what you're in for, right? But that's not all. He then said, "Avengers, Doomsday will end on a cliffhanger." Now, who didn't see that coming? It's like telling us that water is wet. Why even go to these extremes? But wait, there's more. The Falcon. Who wasn't enough. After all that, Mackie continued his train of thought by adding, "Captain America has been trying to make a comeback for the last 2 movies, but hasn't been able to. But Falcon, you weren't even in the second one. What happened there?" It's all well and good to talk about superhero movies, but when you're someone like Mackie, a bit more focus and effort would go a long way. You know, in the grand scheme of things, his contributions just don't make the cut. Here's my plea to the Marvel Universe. Sams Wilson, go back. Yes, it's time for a new face, a new approach. Let's move on from these repetitive roles. Patrick Stewart and the X-Men Saga. On another note, we have Patrick Stewart, who is stepping into the role of Professor X in Avengers Doomsday. Interestingly, he recently mentioned that Kevin Feige had a conversation with him about his character in Logan and how he felt about returning. He clearly stated that he didn't want to go back, but since then, he has already appeared twice in Deadpool and Wolverine, and it seems like he's coming back for more. It's like there's no escape for these actors. Once you've been a part of a franchise, the likelihood of you coming back again and again is almost guaranteed. Florence Pugh's excitement for Crew One Dune 3. Florence Pugh, on the other hand, seems to be more excited about Dune 3Q, where she'll be playing Princess Irulan. She mentioned that she can't wait to wear all the cool outfits. Now, Pugh, we appreciate your excitement, but could we talk about the acting here? This whole cool outfits thing might be fun, but I want to see some serious acting chops on display. By the way, have you guys heard about Takashi Amazaki, the director of Godzilla -1? He's already planning his next project, and guess what? He's working with Sony on the next Godzilla movie. Godzilla 1's sequel will pick up where the first movie left off. Now, we all know how thrilling Godzilla -1 was. The sequel holds a lot of promise, and I'm curious to see where they take the story from here. Noda. Fallout's new season and more. Let's talk about Fallout. Season 1 was a hit, and now there's buzz about Season 2. Walton Goggins, who stars in it, is super excited about the new season. He said that, based on his experience, as shows move forward, the seasons tend to get better and better. But, you know what? This kind of statement doesn't always hold true, does it? Game of Thrones. Anyone? Their later seasons were far from amazing. Nevertheless, Goggins seems pretty confident that the next season of Fallout will live up to the hype. Chichu, the future of Star Wars and new movies. Let's switch gears and talk about the Star Wars universe for a bit. Recently, there was an event where some exciting updates about The Mandalorian and Grogu were revealed. However, nothing earth-shattering here. The film's content will likely follow the same tone and feel as the show. But here's something that might actually interest you. Star Wars just announced a new film by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, featuring Ryan Gosling. This will be set several years after the events of Rise of Skywalker, and Gosling is apparently super excited about his role. But honestly, in the world of Star Wars, time is a strange thing. After all, a few years in their universe could be the equivalent of a few hundred on Earth. So, let's see what new twists they have in store for us. Bakr. Petty rivalries and backstage drama. In another corner of the entertainment world, Petros Pascal recently had an interesting interaction. He talked about his portrayal of Mr. Fantastic aka Reed Richards, in the Fantastic Four reboot. Apparently, to get into character, he imagined himself as an octopus, extending his limbs and adapting to the role. Now, let's pause and think about that for a moment. What exactly is going on with actors these days? Are we stretching the boundaries of imagination, or just running out of ideas? Magneto and Nightcrawler's reunion. Next, let's talk about the X-Men movies for a second. Sir Ian McKellen, Magneto, and Alan Cumming, Nightcrawler, recently reunited and shared a photo. These two were iconic in their roles, and seeing them together again was pure nostalgia. If you've ever seen the behind-the-scenes footage from X-Men, you know the bond they shared off-screen was just as powerful as on-screen. But hold your horses. The X-Men universe is changing. There are rumors swirling that we may finally get an X-Men vs. Avengers movie. This could be a massive crossover, but I wouldn't hold my breath. With the way things are shaping up in the Marvel Universe, I wouldn't be surprised if it turns into a huge mess. Miles Cantona's upcoming role. Another interesting development is with Miles Cantona, who recently starred in Sinners. He was asked about his favorite Marvel characters and mentioned Infinity War and Endgame as his top choices. And when asked about playing a role in the Marvel Universe, he said he'd love to play Miles Morales, Spider-Man's alternate universe version. Given the massive success of Spider-Verse, it's no surprise that Cantona would want to jump into the multiverse action. We might just see him as the new Spider-Man sooner than we think. Daredevil's Defenders and new season news. Next, we have Daredevil, with The Born Again. Series getting ready for the next season, the showrunner, Dario Card, was asked if characters like Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist would be making a return. He kept it vague, but fans are hopeful that the Defenders will return in some capacity. With Daredevil's character development and the new direction they're taking, there's a lot of potential for a bigger, bolder season. Fans are already speculating about what new villains and allies might appear. Thunderbolt and the marketing strategy. Now, let's talk about Marvel's marketing strategies for Thunderbolts. Marvel recently made headlines by creating a Tinder account for the Red Guardian. Yes, you read that right. Red Guardian has a Tinder account. Marvel is seriously stepping up their marketing game, trying to reach fans through every platform possible. It's quirky, it's funny, but it seems to be working. The internet is buzzing with this strange promotional tactic, and honestly, it's refreshing to see a company embrace something this out of the box. Spider-Man's brand New Day and Avengers Doomsday. There's also a lot of speculation around Spider-Man's future in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Spider-Man Brand New Day is expected to run concurrently with Avengers Doomsday, meaning the stories will progress side by side. Many fans are hoping that this will be the moment we see Spider-Man take on new challenges, with Doctor Doom potentially entering the picture. As for what's next for Marvel, there are rumors swirling that Doomsday might introduce new battle worlds, similar to what we saw in Deadpool and Wolverine. It's clear that Marvel is gearing up for a major shakeup. The battle world concept could be a game changer. Records. Wrap up. What's coming next? So, where does all this leave us? The entertainment world is brimming with new releases, exciting rumors, and some serious crossovers. Marvel and DC fans alike are eagerly awaiting the next big thing. Whether it's Doomsday, Fantastic Four, or Spider-Man, there's a lot to look forward to in the coming years. But one thing is for sure. If Anthony Mackie continues to make statements like these, the ride might be a little bumpier than expected. As fans, we deserve better than vague promises and half-baked ideas. Let's hope that the studios deliver on the potential they've built over the years.